Hi everybody, it's John from Lake Erie Chestnuts. I've received my chestnuts in the mail from Chestnut Ridge of Pike County. I believe I bought 15 pounds this year, so I got a big heavy box full of them. Sitting here ready to be put into cold stratification. This year I've got my own burrs that I've produced and open, and you can see the scar from where this one had 3 nuts inside it. I don't know if that's clear or not, but inside had several good sized nuts, not huge, but nice sized nuts. And so happy to be producing my own chestnuts. But still, I think the product that I've bought in the past few years from Chestnut Ridge is very good. They taste great, and I love planting them. I have a great success. So anyway, back to the planting that I do. I have a thing of sphagnum, or however you pronounce that, peat moss, S-P-H-A-G-N-U-M, peat moss. It's a big bale, 3 cubic feet. I don't know if you can see this well, but it's peat moss. I buy this whole thing for 15 or something bucks from Lowe's. Maybe I spend $8, I forget, it's not much. I bought this one 2 years ago. But it doesn't have any fertilizer or anything in it. It's just plain peat moss. I bought a little bit bigger container. Usually my containers go up to about right here. This year, these fit perfectly into the little mini beer fridge that I have, so I'm going to use that for my seeds over the winter. So it's not real rocket science. I do this video every year, I think, but I get the peat moss into the container, get it slightly moist. So to get some of that dirt in there, I'll moisten it up here. So this dirt, really you just want it to keep the seeds from dehydrating. So it's always a balance between too wet and not wet enough, but as long as there's some moisture in there. I'll have a lid on this that doesn't have a real airtight seal. The type that I buy doesn't, and so it lets a little bit of air go in and out. That'll help reduce the mold. And you know, this is not clumping, but you know, it's got a few little small clods and then easily breaks apart. I think this is good. So we'll fast forward to me planting up the seeds. So I'll lay these down a very thin layer. Of peat moss. Yeah, you can see just the comparison of their nuts. Some of mine are about their size. These are theirs. And these would be my best. So definitely they're growing bigger ones than I am currently. And I'll just repeat this process. Layer of nuts, layer of peat, repeat. I try not to have the nuts touch each other so that we can, if mold does grow on one seed here and there, I don't have a big problem with it. Where it immediately spreads to a bunch of others. There's a little bit of separation. Usually when I check on these, there's a little bit of moisture on the bottom of the lid when I lift it off. That does not bother me. Now if it's saturated and everything's wet and I see mold, that bothers me. 2018, 10, 12, what did I say, 201, it was 105, and 96. Chestnut Ridge of Pike County. Now that we got these all potted up and ready for their cold stratification, we're ready to put the chestnuts in the fridge. And we ended up doing 2 different containers full. The one has 201 Dunstan chestnuts, and like I said, these fit like a glove inside the container here. And then this one has 153, so 354 total seeds. If you have any questions, reach out to me, make a comment on the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. I appreciate that. The more we get that information out here, the more people can grow some chestnuts. Have a great day, everybody. Hi everybody, it's John from Lake Erie Chestnuts checking in. It's the middle of December 2018 and winter has come. We've got snow in the orchard. I've posted a few pictures of the trees out there. Hopefully your trees have settled in for the long winter's nap, and some of you a little harder winter than others. If you're down south, you have a lot better weather than us, but up here in the north we get plenty of snow and cold. We're going to be checking on some chestnuts today that we have in the fridge. This will be my first check since putting them in the dirt and kind of starting the cold stratification process, as they call it. So some of you are new, some of you followed this, some of you seen me do this many years here now. We'll kind of dig in here and see what we got. Hopefully we don't have any mold issues. So you can see I just have a pretty simple setup with just a couple little beer coolers or wine fridges that I commandeered after I got a larger size one for the wife out in the garage. And I put them in here and they seem to do great. A little more problem with this one because you get a little more light in there, so I haven't really addressed that, but I think I may have a little more problem with sprouting or a little premature trying to push something up, although I do keep it cold so there won't be as much problem. But pitch black I like that better. I don't know if it really makes a strong difference. But this year I have some chestnuts that I grew in my own orchard that I have in bags, and those look like they have no problems. We'll look at those a little closer here, and then we'll dig them out. If you remember, I did 2 containers this year. I put them in October 12th, and so we'll dig those out and take a look. So these I just put in some bags. These are the ones I put from my own chestnut. This is from a tree in row C20, and you can see this. I just have the chestnut sitting in there, and we'll see if I have mold issues or not. I did not do any particular prep for these, so we'll see whether or not they have any problem or not. Some people will put them in a weak bleach solution. Some people warm them up to 120 degrees, I believe, for a few minutes and try to kill off any worms or anything. It's very early in the orchard. There are chestnuts in the area within a mile. But so I'm sure there's going to be weevils that I'll have to contend with, but I don't know that I have that problem yet. Well, this is a first time for me. I think that temperature's a little cool. We got ice in there. That being said, underneath, not terribly frozen. You can see the nuts. Some of them are attached here. So we'll see. Right now the nuts look okay. I do have a nut or two that has a little bit of early mold. This doesn't bother me, but if it gets white and clustered, I don't know if you can see on this. Maybe I'll move this over here closer. Can you see that little bit of greenish color right above my finger? You see that color? That doesn't really bother me. It's a little bit of mold. I don't think it'll affect the seed. If it gets all white and holds all the soil underneath it, that'll bother me. So we'll see. We'll see what it holds out this year. You can do everything right for years and then all of a sudden have a problem. So we'll see what it turns out. I got to get all this put back into the jigsaw puzzle as it came up. Some of the seeds are frozen. People ask me, does it matter if your seeds freeze? And everything I read says you don't want them to freeze. So we'll see how they will turn out this year. I'm not too worried. I don't think they're so frozen that they're not going to work, but we'll try. We'll see what happens. Put them back in, and we'll see what comes of these things. I turned the fridge down some, put the packages back in. Growing a few persimmons this year. Let's see if this one is a little lower. Not frozen. That one looks fine. Just a little moisture in the soil. It's exactly like it. A little bit of moisture on the lid. Dig up a nut or two. They look great. I don't dig every one of them up and move them around. I just check them and see if I have any major cataclysmic problems. Right now it doesn't look like I do. I'm gonna put them back to sleep. Well, that's my brief little update looking at the chestnuts, seeing how they're doing in cold stratification. Always a little something to worry about. That usually always works out. We'll see if it does. Got that little bit of frost on the top of the one set of seeds, but I think I've turned down the fridge enough that it's not going to have a big problem. We'll just have to see how it all turns out. Hopefully your seeds are doing well. Check them about once a month. That's about what I do. I never add water or moisture. Once I have that original minimal moisture in the soil and put the nuts in them, I never add any more, and I've never needed to. So as long as you get that piece right, you should be good until you put them up under the lights in February, March, April. I typically have been doing early April and have been doing just fine with that. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Listen, if you're looking for a Christmas present for me, go onto YouTube under my name, John Sangle. Click subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's a little mix of everything. It's chestnuts, it's hunting, it's going to be occasional looking at birds, random things there. But when you click like to that or subscribe, you'll be notified when that next video comes up. You'll be able to kind of interact with me a little more there. I occasionally put live videos there. You can follow me at Lake Erie Chestnuts on Facebook, and that kind of just grows the brand there so that we can kind of spread this chestnut knowledge together. Thanks a lot. Have a great holiday. Thanks for watching. Hey everybody, it's John from Lake Erie Chestnuts. It's January 28th, 2019, and I'm working on some projects around the house. It's winter weather, it's miserable, and I know all of you guys are itching to get some green stuff growing in your basements and your windows, and I see a lot of pictures on some of those web pages about growing chestnuts and seeing some of those roots starting to stick out, and we've got some of those at my house too, and I can't wait for that. But in the meantime, I'm doing some stuff that I wouldn't want to do in the middle of the summer, so I'm making some more permanent tags to identify my trees. And I've had feedback on why would I want to have an identifier on the tree. The trees aren't going to get up, grow legs, and move. Well, that's a fair point, I guess. Maybe sarcastic, but when you have more than 300 trees, I have upwards of 350 trees out in the orchard, it becomes difficult to know exactly what tree. And so I like being able to walk up to the tree and identify it. And last year, if you saw, I made those cheap little plastic tags with Sharpie marker on it, they lasted 2 weeks, just like many of you said. So I'm going with a different process to this year, and we'll see how it works. I intend to hang it. I was going to hang it by zip ties, but I've had some feedback, maybe hang it with a little piece of copper wire. I kind of like that idea, so I'll probably end up doing that. And it'll swing in the wind, and it's light enough that I don't think it'll be grown in too much into the tree. And I'll be able to move it around if I need to, just to prevent that from happening if I see it happening. So you can take a look at how I did that here. Well, the weather's pretty horrible outside right now. You can see the snow flying. Well, you see the snow's blowing outside. I've worked night shift the last 6 nights, so I'm gonna just while away a few hours here in the misery. We got a roast in the oven, got some good food. Gonna need some nice soul soaking, make you feel good food tonight. And while I'm waiting for that to cook up, we're gonna make some tags here. I've got these aluminum tags, Rose Metal Products. I just bought them off of Amazon.com. I had to pay a little extra. I paid about $19 per group of them. But they're white, plastic covered, and then underneath the tag here, it's got a little peelable layer that ultimately turns it into an aluminum tag underneath, so you can protect it from scratching. You see this? It's got this PVC layer. It's on both sides, so you can do the stamping, not scratch it up, and then have the aluminum tag out in the orchard. I just set up a little assembly line and sit here and make a lot of noise. I'm working on row D, so. See that? See the D? I usually do about 3 hits if it's more than a round something. If it's just a number 1, 1 or 2 hits would be fine. Here we see a finished product. I'm not going to do the CR OPC for Chestnut Ridge of Pike County. For the rest, I have another 100 to make, so I'm just going to do Chestnut Ridge CR. The Dunstan seedlings. Well, let's check out the old seeds. That's a whole bunch of acorns, English white oak. You can see the seeds starting to grow. Got a few hundred of those. And here's one of my boxes of Dunstan seeds. Slightly moist. Start to see a little bit of a root out of that one. Oh, we got a good root out of that one. Not much out of that one. Oh yeah, that one's sending out a nice root. See how long? I'll just put it right back in there. So things are looking good there. Got a little white coating. A mold maybe over there. That one maybe not gonna make it. We'll let it see how it does. Oh. Ugh. It's got another 153. 354 total here this year. Oh yeah, looking beautiful. Oh yeah, that one's looking beautiful. Oh yeah, this one's looking beautiful. This one's happy. Whole bunch of chestnuts, a whole orchard right here. Someone want to buy them all? I'll sell the whole orchard. Maybe a little bit of work involved. Well, I hope you enjoyed the update. Are you making tree tags for your trees? Are you out there looking to see which species you can buy, which varieties you can buy? Are you looking through seed magazines? What are you doing this winter? Why don't you post that underneath this page? Let me know. Give me a comment. Also, like and subscribe there. I really appreciate anybody that does that. Any feedback, I'm happy to hear it. Good, positive, neutral, hated it, loved it. Please post that. That helps me figure out what kind of things are more useful to you. Plus, you know, I'm probably still going to do some of the boring stuff because it's helping me and I'm just documenting this journey. Thanks very much for following me here at Lake Erie Chestnuts. We'll see you next time. Well, hi everybody, it's John from Lake Erie Chestnuts out here in the orchard. It is March 10th, 2019. I'm working on getting those labels. You see me stamping on those aluminum tags put on the trees. That won't all happen today, but I'm getting a start on it. Nice, beautiful, almost no wind day, just a light breeze, 36 degrees. Got about 4 or 5 inches of snow on the ground and it's starting to go away, and hopefully it'll go away for good. I've gotten quite a few videos from you guys showing me, or some pictures showing me that you got some sprouts going, so great job to you guys. I'll be putting mine in the ground in a couple weeks under the lights in the basement, and then I'll put them out in the nursery area for a little while, and then we'll put them out in the orchard or put them up for sale. So anyway, I'll pop over and I'll show you my little tags here. So what I have is just some aluminum craft wire, Bing craft. I forget what gauge this is. It's pretty light, pretty pliable. Hopefully it isn't going to just unravel. I don't think it will. It wraps fairly tight. It's just a little soft, malleable wire. So I just cut it. And then I've got this little stack, and here's, you can see this is, I don't know if you can see in the bad light or not. Perry. It's row B, tree number 3, and it was planted in the year 15. So, I just take that off. It still has a PVC coating on it. I'm leaving that there. Maybe it'll provide you some additional protection. And deer and bear, especially bear, are curious about shiny objects, so I was afraid if I had the whole shiny object here right off the bat, maybe the bear would mess with it. I'm not sure. I don't have a huge bear problem, but we definitely have a mama with 3 babies and a big male. You can see that it's got the covering off. This one I did take off just to see what it was like. You can see it's quite shiny. Well, as you look down this beautiful row of chestnut trees, I hope your late winter, early spring plans are going strong. Hopefully you've decided to start trying to grow some of your own chestnuts this year, or at least get an orchard growing. That's what's happening out here. I've got tags on the trees. We'll check back in next time. Hope you have a great day. Get outdoors. Well, this is the new setup. It's 8 foot by 10 foot. It's got reflector kind of insulation on the top. I'm going to tape it, but right now I just kind of have it overlapped right there. Typical regular fluorescent lights. And I've got some root makers and just regular little 3-inch and 4-inch pots. And I got some of these containers this year. I'm going to do some acorns and chestnuts. So I'll let you kind of watch what I do here for planting them. So I'm planting chestnuts right now. So I'm basically just I put these in layers, like if you saw me stratify them last fall. And then if they haven't sprouted, I lay them off to the side because they will sprout. I kept this kind of dry to avoid mold, so some haven't sprouted. I'll add a little moisture, they'll start sprouting quickly. But we got one right here. Now it's kind of long, so I do a little screwdriver, I poke a hole, and I put it in there, and it goes in just like that. I just gently pull it out again, get the root, poke it in, smoke it in there. Occasionally I break a root and then I feel bad about it. And then I just move along. Running a little late this year. I had a lot of stuff going on with kids' sports and so forth. But they're going to work out just fine. When you plant them, when they got a root that's 4 and 5 inches long, it's instead of the 2 week wait for things to sprout. You know, usually within a week you have stuff sprouting. And then if I have a particularly curly root, I can just smash the dirt back around, and of course I'll water these all at the end, and then I won't water them again until I see leaves sprouting. If you hear a slight fan sound in the background, I have a small space heater in this enclosed area. It's got I have 4 mil plastic and clear sheeting, plastic sheeting that I'm using around to hold the heat in. And I'm going to try to keep the temperature about 75 degrees, and we'll see how that goes. I may turn it down to 70 while I'm stepping away here for a couple days, just so the soil doesn't dry out too much while I'm gone. If it's too long, I just terminate that taproot. I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but that's what I do because it doesn't fit otherwise. And I don't want to snap it off up closer to the plant, but that's perfect. That will sprout so fast. Make an awesome chestnut tree. Got a moldy nut there. Can you see that? Soil's holding to it. One moldy one so far. I've had questions about if you have a curly root, what do you do? Well, I plant it. It'll figure out up from down. I don't know if it'll cause problems with root bound. I think folks can make things a lot more complicated than you want because we kind of operate our lives in a real scientific way sometimes. Some people do. You know, right and wrong. I think nature has a lot of ways to make itself survive. So if it's curly and curling up or down, we'll plant it in the ground and it'll sprout. Most likely it'll be fine. And if it's not, guess what? Do it again. Do it with something else and you'll learn from that. In a future video, I'm excited to show my new little watering system. I hooked up to I have a PEX watering system at my house, so I was able to hook up to that. I think we're going to have much easier time watering. I don't have to carry buckets up and down the steps to the basement anymore. Pretty fired up about that. This is a good example of one that's really spiraled. See that? That will do just fine. Do I leave them exposed? Usually. I'll put a little bit of dirt over them because I didn't smash this dirt down very much. But the nut will mostly be exposed. If you're a neat freak, close your eyes. There's going to be a little dirt flying around. So there you have it. We got several hundred chestnuts planted. We got about 100 of the English white oaks planted. We'll get the rest of them planted up here in a few days when I have a little more time. But for now, we got these going. We got a little space heater underneath, and we got a little enclosed shelter, so we'll see how it goes this year. Say bye. Hi everybody, it's John from Lake Erie Chestnuts. It's April 6, 2019. Have a beautiful day in the 60s here. I'm planting 4 grafted trees I bought from the Washington Chestnut Company. I bought 2 SZEGO, S-Z-E-G-O, 1 Luval's Monster, and 1 Marigold. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Really great roots on these. This is the smallest of the 4. I've already planted 4 of them. And planting them the same way I always plant them. And then the latest ship date from Washington was late March. So I had to hedge these in for about a week. I think they're going to be fine, but I'm a little worried about their stage of budding. They're a little ahead of where we are here. And I normally would put a tube on these, which I think I should do, but because of the weather, I'm afraid that it's going to force the leaves out early and these trees are going to die or end up stump sprouting. So we're just going to have to see what happens. That was the latest they could ship, was late mid-March. And of course we don't get really good going until mid-May. So budding pretty close to trying to leaf out. So I'm gonna put cages around these instead of tubes to get started, and we'll go from there. Hopefully you're out in your chestnut orchard or getting them growing somewhere in your basement. I'll give you an update of my basement and how my seeds are going here shortly. Stay tuned. We'll be selling a few trees. I'm gonna try shipping a few. We'll see how that goes. And we'll talk more about that in the future. Thanks for watching. Well, now we're here in our little grow room, which is just a nice, real tidy little room, much bigger than I've used in the past. I've usually had the little plastic curtain around the base of a table and had the heater under that. Now we have this nice structure here where we can kind of move around and keep the heat inside. We've been keeping it about 75 degrees in here, trying to keep it right at 75. I just wanted to show you a new light that I chose. This is a Hydroplanet T5 8 lamp, 4 foot long grow light. It comes with 8 bulbs that are at the 6500K grow light level. This is it's got different light sections. You can do just the outside lights or just the inside lights. It's got a mirror in it. You can see, you can turn off the outside lights and just have the inside, or you can do the opposite. Not sure why you would do those, but if you had trays on the outsides, I guess. I love these adjustable hooks that we have on this. It's a pretty heavy duty nylon string, has pretty heavy duty little carabiner, and you can just kind of pull on it and pull up, you know, ratchet it up, and you can release it here and click, 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 and easily adjust the height on this thing. So I love this thing. Looks like it comes with a pretty good warranty. It says it's got a 2-year warranty. So I bought it off of Amazon. I bet you can find one there too. It cost me 150 bucks. And so here we have chestnuts starting to sprout. Aren't they pretty? These chestnuts are, if they're just generic, they're going to be from the Dunstan heritage, they're Chinese American from Chestnut Ridge of Pike County. Some of them are going to are from a specific tree in our own orchard, and they're sprouting. This was from a D4 tree. That's a QING type tree, Queen Ching, however you pronounce that. And so it's great to see chestnuts that I grew myself are sprouting and looking good. And we're growing a few other types of trees, red buds, some catalpa. We have the new cone tainers that are 8 inches long. They're only about 1.5 inches wide on top, but you can get 98 of them in one flat. And you can see that are going to air prune. They're about 1/2 inch off the surface here. And you can see that it allows the oaks, which have a long taproot, to grow that longer taproot. And so this is my first time growing these. You can see they're starting to sprout. These are those English white oaks. You can see in the background most of the other chestnuts starting to do their dance, starting to climb up towards the lights. And I'm using my old shop lights that I've used in all the other videos here for this part, which look fine, but you know, they're going to get a little leggy because I have them kind of high up so I can make sure they all get some light. I may move these to a greenhouse that a friend has generously offered to let me use. Once they get better sprouted and I can assure that they're not damping off and so forth, then I will consider moving them there. But anyway, we have chestnuts sprouting. Hopefully your growing success is happening. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for following me. If you haven't yet, please like my video Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I post videos of various things as diverse as morel hunting, picking mushrooms, chestnut growing, occasionally a deer hunt or a turkey hunt. It's kind of a broad spectrum of things. So if you like that kind of stuff, click subscribe, comment. I try to comment back and talk with you guys so that we can share knowledge and improve our knowledge of how chestnuts grow. Thanks very much for watching. Have a great day. Get outdoors, have fun. April 22nd, 2019. Can you see the green starting to show there? Hey everybody, it's John, Lake Erie Chestnuts, giving you a little update on my tree growing. I got some seedlings sprouting here, some chestnuts and some English white oak. Some of these will be for sale. We're gonna try a limited amount of shipping. I've never shipped potted plants, and that may be more difficult than I'm anticipating, and there are certain states I can't ship to, but I'll put an announcement out in the next week or so about that. But I wanted to give an update on these chestnut seedlings. They're unnamed Chinese American, and then I have some from a couple trees in my orchard that are, you know, very limited supply. They had larger nuts in their first year, but I don't have a strong history with them, so they're kind of a speculative process. But you'll see us going into the chambers here. You see things coming along nicely. You know, they send up a lot of root, or rather stem, and then they put the leaves out. You know, they send up quite a long stem, then they send this small leaves, and then they put a lot of work into putting their leaf out, their first set of full leaves. And these are coming along just beautifully. These will be ready to go in a couple weeks. We have some that have gone to a greenhouse, and I'm experimenting with those. See about their ability to harden off quicker than these. And then here's some English white oak. These are a unique white oak. Some of my chestnut friends also love deer hunting. These are a unique tree that you should have in your food plot area, a perennial food plot tree. These are unique in that they will be shipped in what we call a container. This is a 8.5 inch cone that allows for excellent taproot growth, which oaks love. And they produce a very large white oak acorn, which deer prefer, in as few as 7 years if planted in full sun. That's a significant difference compared to regular white oak, which take 20 to 40 years. And these are also timber type. They will go tall. They have a slightly smaller leaf, and they're prone to they will get powdery mildew in the late summer, but it doesn't affect the growth at all. That's confirmed with multiple state nurseries. One is Ohio State. It's just a known propensity. They don't have any problems with that. They continue to grow tall and strong. But back to the chestnuts. Everything's looking good here. Growing up nice, tall, and strong. You can see over here, we got a few growing as well. We did have a little problem with damping off despite all of our best efforts, but those trees are resilient and are making a comeback, although I've read that some people don't like those trees as much. I have found that they do seem to do okay, at least in my orchard. So I'll leave you with a beautiful green image of chestnuts growing under the lights and about ready to go outside. Hope you guys are having a great start to the spring. Hopefully your trees made it. If you didn't, I'm sorry about that. We're always open to new suggestions. If you tried my method and it didn't work, I'm sorry. I just really want to underscore, if you're watering these things, unless they are crumbly dry, you are watering them too soon. Look at these right here. See how dry this is? Crumbly dry. I'm still not watering because there's a little bit of moisture I can feel with my fingers. I mean, that's dry looking. It looks like nearly a desert. You see that? Still letting them go, even though it's pretty crumbly. This is not your vegetable garden. This is not your mama's vegetable garden. Anyway, thanks for following along here with Lake Erie Chestnuts. Thanks for following our journey. Keep tuned to that page and you'll see me list some of these for sale if you're interested in picking up a few. Thanks a lot. Have a great day outdoors.